What the fuck is going on, everybody? Welcome back. All Pro JAFFOs. This is episode 22. There's a new face in the All Pro JAFFOs. As you see this handsome Portuguese man here on my left, I see it. Nelson Costa, our fantasy football voodoo guru, I'm calling him. He's all,
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
This dude is insane in fantasy football. When we get to those segments, you trust us, it's going to be good. And then, nonetheless, I'm at the bottom here. The 6'10 beast from the Southeast, Mr. Country K. How you doing, sir?
Oh, come on, green screen. I actually have a screen. Why is it tripping? This is going to be like a few
Immediately.
episodes. Teeth had the logo in it. Like this.
Oh, shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We've got a good little vision going forward, and I honestly hope that vision turns into something that, if done correctly, we can do some shit with this. So, episode 22, start off the day. Everybody and their mama this week was getting paid out. Myles Garrett, obviously we all know that Patrick Mahomes got his $503 million baseball contract. But then the question from there was, will this contract interfere with their ability to be able to sign their other superstars that they have on their team? Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. Well, then Chris Jones answered that question for everybody. Chris Jones signed a 4-year extension, $85 million, $60 million guaranteed. So he's in the top 10 of guys that are getting paid out at the defensive line. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes came out and put out a tweet just basically trolling everybody who thought that it was going to be a problem. But now that they have Chris Jones on the defense, now it's the offense that comes into question. How much do you pay out Tyreek Hill? Are you going to be able to keep Kelce? If you have to choose, which one of them would you take? I'd say they go Hill if they had to choose.
Yeah,
just because Mahomes can toss it anywhere, bro, like honestly, and Hill has the speed to get there to do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. After seeing them sign Chris Jones, man, I thought after Mahomes, we all seen these memes going around, these Andy Reid stressing off his pocketbook because the next 10 years, the next 10 years of the franchise, all the money was spent. But I guess someone logged on a Madden franchise and turned the salary cap off or something, because they sure made that deal work for Chris Jones. Who knows, man? I'm sure there'll be a little more restructuring going on. They definitely need to lock up Kelce or Hill to keep that window open. God knows those guys walk. It ain't the same offense, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and who gets that fat extension.
Well, Travis has said openly several times he will take pretty much whatever to stay with Pat.
Hometown deal.
Yeah, he'll say that. I feel like they'll
right what Gronk said to Brady.
No, I feel like they'll right their wrongs with the whole Tony Gonzalez thing, because they let Tony Gonzalez go, and then he went to Atlanta and he played 5 years up there.
8 years in Atlanta.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, you know what I mean? They're gonna right their wrongs because they feel like Travis Kelce can potentially be a Hall of Famer now. Now he got a ring. He gets numbers. He's consistent. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like inconsistent. Like some seasons he'll get like 20 catches and then other seasons get like 70. You know what I mean? Like it's not like pretty consistent.
Tyreek would be durable too.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, he's a domino that I really don't know. I don't really see him much like on the media, like talking much. So I really don't get a feel for his personality. So I really don't know if he'll restructure or he'll just want his money. because that kid's supposed to be in the Olympic team, to be honest with you, running track specifically.
No good.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. But the thing is with him, long term, it's going to be faster people coming to the league. That's one thing you got to realize because we just had, what was the guy? He ran like a 4.1 receiver.
Hey, you mean that just got drafted?
Yeah.
Ruggs?
Is that Ruggs?
Yeah, he just ran that. So you're going to have receivers fast. You know what I mean? And it's going to take a matter of time before you put him with the right guy. If they have the right guy now, you know what I mean? Oakland, well, Vegas. I'm telling you, there's going to be more faster players come in. So Tyreek Hill is not going to really be an exception. You know what I mean? He's going to be just, at this point. And then
the new normal.
Yeah, it's going to be normal shit. So I'm saying about 4 or 5 years, Tyreek Hill's speed probably slow down, bro. Like, I'm going to be all the way honest with it. Because that's the first thing that kind of goes is he's not going to drop dramatically. So he's not going to go from like a 4.3 to like a 4.6. It's just going to slow down gradually. Players are going to be able to cover him, stuff like that. So that's what I feel. I don't know.
Like Kelsey's the safer investment.
Yeah, I think Travis Kelce's a safer investment. That's because I don't even think Kelsey's like 30. He could be like 29, right? Like 29.
Yeah, he's been in the league like 6 years.
Yeah, but
something
players
like that. Yeah.
6, 7.
Super early. Like if you think about it, well, just saying for my case, right? Or just say the Pounceys, right? We're all around the same age. The Pounceys graduated high school early. They graduated fall 06, like right after the football season, and went to Florida. So they were able to go to the league early. You get what I mean? So they got drafted at 19. I was at City my freshman year, after my gray shirt season, in the Hawaiians' house watching the draft. We were 19 at the time. And I watched him get drafted to Pittsburgh, and I watched the other one get drafted to Miami. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like we all were 19 years old. So if he came in at 19, 6 years, he's 25. You know what I mean? So
I don't think that's the case for Kelsey, though. I think
he's like late 20s, but I mean, the guy's proven to be pretty durable.
Yeah, and he's not like crazy. You know what I mean? Let me look this up now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been consistent, man, especially, since Andy Reid kind of got there in KC. He's been putting up consistent numbers. He hasn't dealt with injuries. Definitely not the off-the-field issues that, Tyreek Hill has had in the last few years. So, no, man, I definitely see your point. I think Kelsey definitely deserves the extension. He was a big reason why they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if they don't sign Hill, they still have Hardman. They still have the other guys who were just as fast.
Yeah, built the same way, man.
Yeah, so and it's hard to get a really good tight end nowadays. So that could be the case.
I want to see how that guy at the FAU turns out. He was like the best receiver in college football this past season. I want to see how he turns out.
We'll see how he turns out. But ladies and gentlemen, into the next segment, we have an interview. See this picture of a man right here smiling. Let's see if he's here.
He's still connected.
Yeah.
On everything. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This man used to play for the 49ers back in the early 90s, was a San Diego State standout, holds pretty much all the damn track records over at Silver Creek High School that I think are there. And now we're coaching at San Jose City College. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the great Coach Swanny, Curtis Shearer. What's up, Coach?
What's up, man?
What's up, Coach?
How you doing, man? It's a pleasure to be on here, guys. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Glad to have you say yes to come on.
Oh man, it's definitely a pleasure, man.
Awesome. So, Coach, let's start it out real quick. Let's go right out the gates. You started over in San Diego State.
Yes, sir.
Pretty decent career. That how did all the whole college system work out for you back in those days compared to now?
I mean, compared to now, it's still kind of similar. College football is college football. You know, it's game is the game. It's all a mentality on how you approach it. When I came into the game, there was a lot of just I had to excuse the background. Cars driving by. I had the pleasure of playing with a lot of great dudes, and Marshall Faulk was in the backfield at the time. Had Darnay Scott, Ozzie King, Will Blackwell. You know, we was pretty much loaded with what we had going over there. So it was just a pleasure of playing with guys who played at a high level, had a different mentality on the approach of the game. And in today's game, I mean, it's still kind of the same. It might be harder to find when you going up the levels because the game's changed a little bit as far as just rules on how we look at the game, how you hit and how you doing certain things. What's been considered penalties was different back when I was playing than what it is now. So when you look at it in that aspect, the game's changed a little bit. But I mean, it was great times. You know what I mean? I mean, you just got to love the sport. I love the game. I love playing it, and I had fun doing it. It opened up a lot of doors for me. So, you know, with that said, I mean, it got me through school. So, you know,
good stuff.
Did you know? So, I mean, obviously you played with Marshall Faulk. Did you guys know at that time that he was going to turn out to be what he turned out to be?
Pretty much instantly. We knew it. The rest of the country didn't know it. I mean, I can tell you a little story about how that came to be, because everybody always wondered, like, how did this guy end up in San Diego? Because he was recruited by every college in America, but they all wanted him to play DB. All recruited him, LSU, Georgia, Florida State, all these schools wanted him to play DB. But our head coach at the time was like, well, the only way he wanted to play running back. The only way we're going to get him is we're going to tell him he can play running back. And, of course, they tried to bamboozle him because San Diego State also wanted him to play DB. But they got him there. And at the time, they recruited, I don't know if you remember a guy by the name of Wayne Pittman.
Yep.
But they recruited him, and he was all San Diego running back at the same time. And then we already had two great running backs that was there prior to Marshall. But just to tell a little story of how it all happened, you know, he came into practice, and I was there a year before him. And everybody knows, like, offense comes on the field, you got white shirts, black pants. Defense comes on, black shirt, white pants. He comes in white shirt, white pants. Everybody knows. Everybody knows, they're trying to get you to play both ways, and we knew what it was. But they play DB, but put him on scout team to play running back, but he's killing everybody. And we know, we're like, this dude's a great running back. Like, I knew it. I'm sitting there watching, like, this dude, I don't know why they didn't want to put him out there. And it was the University of Pacific. I mean, that's where he made his name. And if you go back on the record, that was his first game. First collegiate game, first carry. He goes for like 85 yards. Long story short, he ends the game with 7 touchdowns, 380-something yards as a freshman first ever, and breaks all the collegiate records for most touchdowns in the game, most yards in the game at that point in time. So, yeah, we pretty much kind of already knew. And then the rest is history. You guys already know that.
I mean, one of the only 3 guys to go 1,000 for 1,000 in the league.
Right.
To be able – so you go from basically witnessing one of the greatest, you know, probably in a lot of people's opinion, the top 5 running back all time.
Right.
To then going to play for the 49ers where you have literally the GOAT.
Right.
How?
So my first year there was 95, so it wasn't even just a GOAT. A lot of one of the other great receivers that I learned from playing there and was just a great guy just to sit down and talk to was John Taylor. And if you talk to Rice, John Taylor was the one who pretty much taught him the game. So, you know, you sit back and look at the game and wonder how it all transpires as far as just knowledge and how people play the game. There's a lot of great football players out there that mentor other players that end up becoming great. So, just to be around those guys and seeing their work ethic, working out with Rice and seeing that, how much passion that they put into the game. I mean, it transcends to everything that they do. And you being at City with me, as far as me getting out of football and going into and transcending that into coaching, while I'm coaching, that's what I try to inspire in the players that I've been around. And I try to do that in everything that I do in life.
Being the wide receivers coach out there at City, that taught me when I was going through high school. You were actually the one who recruited me to go to City.
Right.
I remember the phone call specifically.
Right.
Yeah, hey, this Coach Swanny, you still trying to play ball? He's like, well, get out here. Let's go. Shit. I showed up on the day that pads were being given out. Like,
right.
I didn't know the whole schedule, everything else like that. And then, but through high school, they taught me more like basically a run-based offense. So I was more blocking than anything else. I went through one camp, a DeBartolo camp with Rice, and then I went with you at City, and it was a whole different player. It was a whole different way of going. Like I was used to only running 3 different routes in high school. Yeah, I had to memorize like
that's
the 9.
That's the normal. When I was recruiting, that was the normal thing that I see. You got to kind of look outside the box because you already know most high school guys are going to win because that's pretty much all you need, really. I mean, you got maybe 1 or 2 standout DBs for the majority of the teams that you face. You might face an all-star team, but for the most part, on average, you might face 1 or 2. So you don't need too many routes. You don't got to get too tricky at the high school level. And that's just the difference of the game. Of as you progress through the levels, knowledge of the game that changes, the mental aspect of the game that changes. It's not the physical is the physical. If I was a 4-3 guy in high school, I'm going to dominate everywhere. I can run 2 routes that don't matter. You're not going to cover me. As you get to college, the physical part of it becomes equal. When you get to the league, it becomes equal. And that's where the game becomes pretty much 85 to 90% mental. So it's how you prepare for the game. How technical you are. You just can't run those routes. Are you getting in and out of your break? Are you being coachable? Are you a team player? Are you paying attention to detail? That's the difference of where great players become great, and that's where the game changes as far as the levels that you move up. So the players I coach, I try to instill the mental part of it first. I kind of do it backwards instead of just looking at a guy saying he's so great. Even when I was coaching the little kids, the mentals, because if you get the mental part of it right, the rest of it's going to come. You teach them how to just be mentally tough and go out there with a great work ethic, they're going to take it upon yourself when you're driving across the field and even practice from coaching a kid and you're driving off and you look on the field and that kid's still out there by itself. Then you know you're coaching a good player. Because those are the things you kind of look for, that they're doing that extra. They're out there 15, 20 minutes extra after practice when everybody's gone, working on something they messed up during the game.
And see, you got a question, bud? No.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
You got your question?
Yeah. Hey, again, thanks for being on, Coach. I guess just to kind of spring into, given you've gone through, the whole college recruitment process, you've been on the coaching side, you've been in the NFL. I guess to address the elephant in the room, man, and kind of get your take on it, given the whole COVID situation and everything that's going on right now with college football. I mean, how different is it for someone, trying to get in, to college recruitment, not being able to really go to any interviews, things like that? How as a high school athlete would you even put yourself out there to take that next step right now, man? And obviously a lot different than when you
I was out at
were doing it with
high school's practice yesterday, and talking with the coaches and saying, asking the same question, how are you dealing with this COVID? Because I feel for the kids right now, because there's a couple leagues right now who aren't going to have football this year. And the question is, and this is going to be the hard part, and I don't even have the answer to it. We just got to kind of wait and see how it pans out. I feel for the high school seniors that are going into this year. It's their senior year. And usually that's kind of a big transition year for a lot of high school players. You start learning the game, you get at varsity your junior year, you start figuring out everything that's going on. And then right when you become comfortable in your senior year, when you're trying to make a difference, that year's taken away from you. And a lot of times, some colleges are kind of, as a recruit, you see a kid. When I go out, I'll see a kid that's young. I'll watch him and I want to follow him. And you see that he's got a little bit of potential. But the gamble now is you don't get to see that senior year. Does he progress? Because some progress, some fall off. It's usually a pivotal year. So it's going to be kind of hard, I think, for just it's going to be hard for both, not just that senior athlete coming out, but for just colleges and recruiting in general. Like, do we take the guy? Do we sign him and say, hey, we liked what he did his junior year, but, mentally, has he grown? You don't see that. So you just kind of, you have your blue chip kids that you just already know he's going to be the guy. But for the guys that are still progressing in the game that were late bloomers, I think it's going to affect them the most, because you have a lot of good players that you really didn't see it too much in high school, but come on to be college standouts and go to the league, go to the pros, and got yellow coats. Because some of those guys just were a victim of maybe bad coaching and maybe playing out of position. And then they finally get to college and those coaches figure them out and put them in the right spot. And then that guy goes on to be great. So it's going to be hard to say that COVID is it's a tough beast right now. Most teams haven't even put together their team. And this is JC too. This is all colleges. Haven't had a whole team on the field yet, because you can only put so many players. Right now, the max is 12 players you can put on the field. So you're going out there in groups. So it's a big element. There's a lot of there's it's hard to say. When I talk to my other buddies that are coaching, that are at college levels, friends that's in the pro level, everybody's kind of just, when you say how's the season looking, nobody's prepared. I ask them, hey, with the league, how's it going? All we can do is just coach our guys and wait to see what happens. Everybody's kind of in that waiting zone, but the clock is ticking and we're right around the corner, but nobody really has the answers. So it's kind of tough, man.
So is that same thing that's been happening with like the incoming seniors from their junior year? I know in JC, guys mostly there for pretty much 2 years, and then or 3 years if they gray shirt their first year, and then move on to another university. So those guys that are going into their final year of JC, they're being affected basically the same way going into
every single level is being affected. Every level. Because if you fall in that category where you don't have this year to rebound, and football now, I'll speak as my daughter. My daughter's a track standout and got a full ride to UNLV. Luckily, she fell in the track. She fell into the season that she lost her year because it came in spring, right when COVID hit. So particular athletes, luckily, they got a year back. So Division I actually gave the kids a year back to try to give them a shot. But the question is, if they don't play again this year, are those schools going to give them another year back? Like, nobody knows.
Yeah.
So those athletes that are at JC, unfortunately, every year that you're not playing, it's like dog years. That's like 7 years, man. You can't afford to lose those years. And if you're trying to get recruited and you're let's say a second-year guy at JC, and this is your year, do you sit and play JC again, or is a school going to take a chance on you? Because if a D1's recruiting you coming out of JC, they want to know that you can play right now.
Yeah.
So, that's where it's going to be questionable. And I think
you had to put your money on it right now, Coach. What do you think? Going to have a season?
I just kind of don't see it happen. There's too many. It's a domino effect. I'm looking at all the schools. Stanford just got rid of 15 of their sports underneath. And we all know football funds most sports underneath collegiate football, and it's kind of a domino effect. When you see high-powered schools like that cutting down their programs, the right on the wall, it's going to be tough. I know it's a lot of money there, so collegiate may play, but for those high school guys coming up, I don't know.
Yeah, they're up against it.
All these different districts that are closing down football, it might be tough for them.
That's crazy.
Got to watch the league, and the league is probably going to answer a lot of our questions. If they play, you know, they got baseball coming up right now. We'll see. They'll play with that. We're going to see how long that lasts.
With the NFL, the NFL, it's a little different because of the medical tech and everything that they have is much more advanced than down at the lower levels in collegiate and JC and high school levels.
But it's a lot more money involved. I mean, there's a lot more people up there that, you know, it's a business. So, you know, it affects the economy. It affects things that's going on. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that plays because it's a lot of money being lost. But it's still a domino effect. Yeah. If they don't have it, it's pretty much guaranteed everything else underneath is not going to have it. So you got to kind of just watch and see it. So those are things that you got to watch the higher ups, the hierarchy, and it's just like being part of a union. You know, like for us, I also work for the probation department, but you got county and city, and usually what happens with the city, then it follows chase with the county. If the police on this side don't get their raises or don't get this or that, or they do, then it kind of follows suit. The league, football, sports is kind of the same way. If certain ones don't get it, then most likely the one underneath probably not going to get it. Then the one underneath isn't going to get it. And the little man definitely isn't going to get it. And some of the little man, the high schools are already falling off as we speak. And there's a lot of college programs that have lost a lot of their programs because of the COVID. So I just think, you know, there's something new that nobody's been through. Nobody has the answers.
Unprecedented, yeah.
We just don't have the answers to it. It's not in our lifetime. You know, it hasn't been something we've been through. The last time something's been like this has been the Spanish flu.
20s, yeah.
So, and football and all that then wasn't even, you know, playing like that was right now. So we don't have a blueprint to go off of to say, okay, when it happened at this point in time, this is history in the making. How we recover from this is probably going to be how we're going to recover 10 years from now, 2030, 2040. They're going to have to take the blueprint from us on how they go through it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just got to kind of go through the process.
Have you been out there doing anything with City? Have they been running any?
No. I'm actually, last year was my last year at City. So I'm so right now I've just been doing private training people on the side. But there's no schools out there really doing too much. Everybody is limited to 12 people, JC's included. You know, they've been doing weight and whatnot, but it's, you know, nobody has a team together really. It's been tough for everybody.
So since then, what are future plans looking like for you? What are you doing now? How's everything looking?
Right now, I've been doing private training. I'm still using my degree in the probation department, and then I just work my side business. You know, I work with WFG, trying to just give financial literacy. So I'm trying to go back and give a lot of the athletes that are coming up, a lot of the coaches that are coming up, and just trying to educate them on just being financially and getting ready for retirement. But as far as just coaching wise, I've gotten a lot of offers of places that want me to come coach for them. But right now I'm kind of just enjoying my family time.
Oh, yeah.
With the COVID, I kind of been in high demand because a lot of people want me. But once you sit out for a little bit and I'm able to coach some people, I'm definitely going to – I just can't stay away from the game.
Yeah.
So that's inevitable. The football is just – I bleed football, man. So it's just a matter of where I decide to go. And right now I'm kind of just trying to make sure I can get with the right staff, get with the right people, and we have the same philosophy, because as you know, as coaching, you want to be with somebody who has the same philosophy. So,
are you looking for a head coaching job somewhere, or what we look at? The OC, the D1? What's up?
right, I'm not going to put anything out there right now. There's some things in the works. I'm going to sit down and just wait and see what happens. And I'm going to sit down with the family and talk with the family. You guys already know. You guys see how the family feels, and we'll go from there. But you're definitely making some more wideouts great, man. I love coaching, man. So, you know, it's something I love doing. It's a passion. But right now, I love the family too, and I love just doing what I'm doing. So I'm able to spend a lot of time. And right now, I just been coaching my daughter and some of the young cats that are coming up. So trying to get her ready to see if she's even going to have a season.
Coach, Jet, she's exactly how you were when you were in high school. She was faster than half the team that we had out in 2010, like 2011. When she would run sprints with us, like 50-yard sprints, and she beat like half the team.
Yeah.
We all knew it. And she was what, like 13 at that time?
Junior Olympian champ back then. Went on to become, she was 4-time CCS champ. So, you know, it's funny when you sit back and you kind of look back at your kids and the funny things that they pick up on. And then the characteristics of just being competitive, because, you know, it's a high level. And I try to get on her mentally to always just compete, do better than me. And she actually went to Silver Creek as well. And then she looked up there and saw all my records up there and sat back and looked at all of them. It was odd because I'm looking at her and she's stuck and she got her finger, she's pointing. And I'm like, you know, what are you doing? She said, I'm just counting to see how many records you got, Dad. And I'm saying, okay, so what's that mean? She said, I just need to know how many I got to get before I beat all of yours.
There you go.
I said, this freshman, needless to say, she has more records than I do.
Absolute competitor.
Yeah,
it
so
definitely runs in the family.
Yeah, so, you know, and that's all I try to instill in everybody that I coach, no matter where they're at, and I just try to just educate them in every aspect of how to play the game, how you approach the game mentally, and then just having a plan afterward. Like, what are you gonna do after the game is all over? When NFL means not for long. So when that finally catches up to you, you know, what's your next move? And a lot of guys don't have a next move, and some of them, if they haven't gotten their degree or haven't finished or haven't handled their money right, you know, it gets tough for them, and especially with all this COVID stuff and no jobs and all that, you got to definitely make sure you have a plan.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, one thing is silver lining to all of this, you definitely get to spend that time with your family, which I'm sure for everybody, they kind of took that for granted up until this point where you actually get to hang out with your family and stuff. So it's a good thing. Keep doing that. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. Honestly, like I can't even begin to show you the appreciation for this. Like, honestly, it was really awesome having you on. And hopefully, again, we'll have you on again soon with some more updates.
Definitely. Hopefully,
break that head coaching news or something that you got here.
You might get the exclusive.
Hey, works.
Might get the exclusive. But like, okay, I decided to go here.
There we go.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Swanny, Curtis Shearer. Thank you, Coach.
Anytime.
Have a good one.
All right.
He's going to take us in the house with him? There you go. Okay.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach Swanny, Curtis Shearer, former 49er, San Diego State. Good story about Marshall Faulk there. Basically the inside things in coaching on how things are going in college football right now. Pretty damn good interview. Not bad.
Yeah.
that's why
a lot of information. Yeah, that was awesome.
I just sat back and just soaked it in because I'm like, I haven't seen Coach in so long. I don't even know if you remember one, just simply because I wasn't the same position like as you guys. So I was always like, one thing I wanted to say, I was super envious of y'all. I used to watch y'all, like even before Swanny took over as the wide receiver coach, we had Coach Doug, Kevin Williams. Like when I got there in 08, and they both were coaching together, and they will always had like a family feel to the wide receivers, like how y'all had, 2010 and stuff like that with him by himself. And I was always kind of envious of that because we were kind of scattered at O-line. You know what I mean?
Should have played
one,
D-line, but
one, like Coach said, like one problem some players have is the coach don't have them at the right position. I felt like when I was there, I wasn't at my right position. That's just how I always felt because I always knew I was fast and stuff like that. I always had speed. I wanted to play D-line. That was my thing. But
you'd have been like a default.
I would have been probably what you saw when I put my tape in the group. You know what I mean? Just in college, like 10 years before. But that's just my personal opinion. But again, I wasn't a coach. My mind wasn't how developed it is now. You know what I mean? So another thing, mental aspect, I didn't have that. And like I said, I was always envious of y'all and how y'all bonded and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, but even with me though, there was still a little bit of because I was a tight end. I was still going in, with the offensive line and everything else like that. So when he said, wideouts on 3, me and 2 other tight ends are sitting there going, we're not fucking wideouts, we're tight ends, goddammit. But over time we just kind of grew to know that it wasn't so much as like representing the position. It was more of a mentality, like how to attack the game, like how to do everything the right way. So that's what you kind of basically took from it. And when I mentioned the DeBartolo camp that I had with Jerry Rice, well, the Wideouts for Life t-shirts were on the other wide receiver coaches that were out there helping with that camp. So he has an extension, of coaches that are just insane and were great players, in their time. So it's just, he's got a good system going through. He's produced, pretty damn good players in multiple positions just as a coach as a whole. So I was glad that he was able to come on here, give us that take, give us a little story about Marshall and
the insider take, man. Just getting the insider take on how the landscape even looks right now, amid the pandemic and everything that's got going on. It was pretty awesome to hear, man. I'm hoping we could get him on again as we start talking, impact on the draft and all that down the line. But
he said he was going to break the news here. I'm going to hold him to it.
Yeah.
But as we get into this next segment, ladies and gentlemen, before we go on, that interview was brought to you by Raise Energy. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith when it's instilling a high-quality formula to bring the customer a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone, anytime. Raise Energy has become the most popular and best-rated energy drink on the market to date with a phenomenal flavor profile that puts most of other competitors to shame. They just got a new one, those watermelon something. They had the Baja, all their energy drinks, no crash, no nothing. So pretty damn good shit. You want to get yourself a case, go to repsports.com. That's REPP sports.com and use the promo code Alpha Raise to get 15% off. Once again, Alpha Raise, and you get 15% off your order when you use that promo code Raise Energy. Telling y'all, go get you some. It's the shit. Getting into the next segment, we were talking about pretty much people getting paid the hell out before we started the interview with Coach. We pretty much ended up on Chris Jones, and the Chiefs are probably going to be the next dynasty. To be completely honest with you, it's a complete possibility the way they have everything set up. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a Chief his entire career unless some sort of fuckery happens. And because the whole thing is they could either his guaranteed money that year, I get they had a little a printout of it. It said for this year they could either pay him his guarantee of 42 million or they have to buy him out for 75. And then the next year it's like it's another thing. It's like it basically it triples of what they have to pay him if they're going to go with somebody else.
Oh, he's a Chief for life.
Yeah. So if that's a clause in your contract, I mean, this is unheard of. A 10-year contract. You know, 10-year contracts have happened before, but not like this. This is baseball money. Like this is like he's the highest paid athlete in all of North America right now.
And I mean the resume, man, and what this guy's accomplished in such a short period of time, it's unheard of. So, you're talking MVP at 22, 23 years old, 50 touchdowns, in what his first season as a starter. Then you add to the resume and get yourself a Super Bowl ring. The guy's 24 years old. I mean, they probably would have signed him for 20 years if they could have. Sky's the limit for this guy, man. So it should be interesting to see. And as long as he's healthy and on that field, they should be relevant.
So then, at that point, D linemen now are definitely going to be, at a premium from here on for the next, 5 to 10 years. As long as Mahomes is in the league, everyone is going to be preparing for somebody like Mahomes. And the Browns went and signed out Myles Garrett for a 5-year deal, $125 million, $100 of that guaranteed, $50 million as soon as the ink got off the fucking contract. Highest paid highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL, above Aaron Donald, above Khalil Mack.
Highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, man. Insane, and go figure, another 24-year-old phenom, Myles Garrett.
You don't think he deserves it?
Oh, I think he does.
Okay. I was like,
absolutely, right. I think he does. The dude's an animal. He's an absolute fucking monster. This guy, and literally, when you see the guy, in his interviews and stuff, he's a pretty humble guy. He's a pretty down-to-earth dude.
Gentle John.
Normally, you see a guy with that much athleticism and talent just going off at the mouth at every time. So this guy, as humble as it, the only thing he's done wrong is beat fucking Mason Rudolph in the head with a helmet. That's the only.
And that one's still up for debate with some of the words that he said were thrown around. But, yeah. I mean, you're talking if he deserves it or not. I mean, you're talking fourth in sacks per game since he was drafted in 2017. You're talking 30.5 sacks already at 24 years old, 6 forced fumbles. He's been over double-digit sacks 2 out of his first 3 years in the league. And again, sky's the limit, man. Guy's 24 years old. Pay the man. He's going to be around for a long time and a force in this league for a long time.
I hope he doesn't have a Joe Thomas career where he's the best D lineman in the NFL, but the team still sucks ass.
You know how things go in Cleveland, man.
I would hope that Myles Garrett, with the amount of money that they paid him, can help, get Cleveland back to the times before they basically disbanded, became the Ravens, and were out.
Won the Super Bowl.
Won the Super Bowl as the Ravens. But the time before the Browns, before that, the Belichick era, and before that, the Browns were a damn good team. But that time they basically cut off to go to Baltimore. from then on, it's been a curse. It's literally a Belichick curse.
Whole different franchise, man. Yeah, it's insane how long they've just the drought and the statistics behind how long they've been irrelevant. I mean, while we're on the topic, I mean, what do you guys envision for 2020? I mean, you know, assuming there is a football season, you know, are the Browns a contender?
On paper, yes.
It
The
doesn't.
amount of guys that they have on their team, like on paper, yeah, they're a contender. But
just hard to believe in that brown and orange, huh?
It's Cleveland. There's some sort of curse around this city in sports. LeBron, you know, got him a title. That's the last title they're ever going to have for the next, you know, fucking 50 years or whatever it is, at least of my lifetime. You know, it's just, I can't get over that there's just a bad omen in Cleveland. You know, there's something going on there that's just a bad omen.
All right, NC, I'll let you know, this man is biased, very biased. He needs to go ahead and tell him why you hate the Browns.
He knows I don't like Baker Mayfield.
All right.
He knows I don't like anything Oklahoma. He understands.
There it is. That is why you're saying that. It has nothing to do with Cleveland as a whole. LeBron broke the curse. Cleveland has been okay.
In their defense, the Indians are there too, you know.
Yeah. LeBron broke the curse, man. Now it's just up for whoever has the best team. Yeah. Gotta get it together, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, man. I mean, I think the one thing that's really held them back and the biggest reason why they've been irrelevant for so long is there's just been no continuity there. So it's you know, a different quarterback, a different coach, different coordinator every year. It seems like every other year. The moment they go 6-10, they're firing everybody and starting over. I think they have the talent now to where they really have to evaluate the situation and go, this is probably a 3 or 4 year project. People started talking playoffs last year, and that team imploded before the season even started with the expectation.
Freddie Kitchens as your head coach, like.
Yeah, so I mean, where they're at now, man, I feel like if they can just keep the young talent together, keep developing those guys, I mean, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen.
I don't think Baker Mayfield's that guy. No, I'll be honest. I don't think he's gonna be that guy. He's not gonna. He's gonna be that other statistic of the Cleveland Browns. He's gonna have like 2 or 3 good years, and then he's just fall off the face of the earth. That's just what's gonna happen. That's my opinion. If it doesn't happen, if it doesn't happen, you know, fine. I'll eat my words. I was wrong. Not the first time. Definitely not gonna be the last time. But no, and I've made this case before. Name the last time an Oklahoma quarterback was any fucking good.
Look, I'm not going there with you because I have the same feeling for Florida State quarterbacks. So we're good in that department. But as far as moving forward, you're not going to sit here and make it seem like Baker Mayfield is not good. Like, he could possibly be that. But the only reason why I say that is because his rookie season, he didn't have a typical rookie season to where he just shit the bed. That's how he got all these commercials. That's how he got all this other shit. His second year, when it was full expectations, the same thing other rookies get, he shit the bed. So I agree with you. But at the same time, let's not make it seem like the Cleveland Browns had a good O-line. Their O-line was Swiss cheese at best.
I'm just saying, you got guys who apparently in Madden ratings, you got Nick Chubb in the backfield. You got Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, and you can't win games as a fucking quarterback? Sorry. Nope.
Speaking of Nick Chubb had to shake one person at least every, 2 downs? Every time he got the ball. In the backfield. As soon as he gets the ball, he got to shake somebody because the O-line shit. What do you want anybody to do with a shitty-ass O-line? They did the best they could, and Nick Chubb carried the ass as far as he could.
How many times did Baker Mayfield either overthrow or underthrow Odell last year?
How many times has Baker Mayfield had to do that, throwing off his back of his feet? Like he's way back here. Like
I mean, he's short. He's got a tippy toe to throw it over the line anyway.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's
The
what
year
Tom
before,
Sooner.
the year before that, this man was throwing somewhat like that, but I feel like, bro, they really need to work on that O-line. If they don't work on the O-line, they're gonna be sorry as shit again.
Hey, well, they had Joe Thomas, and they couldn't do anything with that, so couldn't blame the offensive line at that point.
He's one
You
of
know,
them.
man, and unfortunately, just to kind of get back to the continuity thing I was just talking about, I think he's kind of has his fair share of obstacles with swapping coordinators, swapping coaches. I mean, what's this going to be like his third system in his first 4 years? It kind of reminds me, man, unfortunately, of like Alex Smith when he first came out and he was flopping. He has talent. He obviously has talent, to Country K's point here. The guy's got swag too, man. I mean, he's got the personality to be a superstar in the league. I think he's got the talent. I think he needs to get out of his own head. Maybe don't focus so much on the commercials and get back to playing good football. But
that's the problem. He's going to. He's just going to. He's going. That's the whole thing. He's going to let those commercials and everything. I
think this is the make or break year for him for sure. I mean, with all the talent on that team coming back, a healthy Odell Beckham, a top 5 rusher in Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, all of those weapons on that team, an improved defense. I mean, if they don't
make the
playoffs or get close,
they got Austin Cooper at tight end.
They're gonna make it.
And Njoku wants a trade.
Yeah,
he wants out of Cleveland because he knows your career dies. You got to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So he might.
I mean, hey, we'll see.
What if Njoku goes and plays with Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina?
They still lose. Whatever.
I don't think that's a bad move, man. I mean, I'm kind of surprised a team like Carolina hasn't pulled the trigger, especially given that Greg Olson's in Seattle now. You have outside of DJ Moore, absolutely nothing going on that offense. You can't check the ball down to Christian McCaffrey every play.
Well, they did.
Oh, you see how many games that won him?
No, it didn't win shit.
Player, but
McCaffrey's a freaking record breaker. That dude's going to be insane.
It doesn't really matter. So answer NC's early question.
You're NFC South, so you're going to have that division rivalry bias there.
The Super Bowl is taking it. Sorry.
I mean, speaking of the Panthers, man, I mean, how about McCaffrey in that contract? Jesus. You think that's the new normal for running backs?
I mean, the Titans paid out Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but again, it's these players that's getting that money at running back, they're super exceptional. Now, if you get like a regular running back that gets that contract, then I'll agree with you, yeah. But then when you have like Derrick Henry, who rushing leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? McCaffrey, 1,000. Yeah, I mean,
third man in history to do it.
Fucking Zeke, phenomenal player.
Good running back. I'll give him that.
So it's like those players in that list, they deserve that money. You know what I mean? Because they changed their team's outcome. Let's say like that. Because, I mean, the Panthers are going to be even worse without McCaffrey.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They
might have been the number 1 pick, possibly.
Yeah, no, for sure. They would have been the number 1 pick for sure. Without McCaffrey, there's nothing generating on the offense at all. Like, no matter how much you try, there would have been nothing.
Yeah.
But as far the same thing with Zeke. Cowboys without Zeke, they're shit. Complete shit. So
you think guys like you think McCaffrey specifically, and I mean, Henry, the contract's comparable as well. Obviously, McCaffrey kind of setting the bar for him and probably why he was so stern in holding out. Do you think he's the exception? You think he's the best non-quarterback as far as offensive weapons in the league right now?
McCaffrey?
McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's tough because
you're starting a team and it wasn't, you weren't picking a quarterback and you could pick one player.
Because he can
He's
do
not that guy.
He can both catch the ball out of the backfield and he can run downhill. Like it's tough. He's up there. He's up there.
I say no for this fact. If you I'll give you my answer. My answer is Tyreek Hill. I was gonna say Devontae Adams, but my answer is Tyreek Hill because you can put Tyreek in the backfield, still do the same thing he's doing at wide receiver. Faster too.
And he ain't running in between the tackles like Run CMC is though, man. He gets hit by one of them strong safeties or middle linebackers running through that hole. He'll never go through that hole again.
He's
closer, man. I'll give you that. That guy can line up anywhere on pure speed alone. That guy's got a gear of his own. He makes everyone else look slow. They could run a 4.3 and they still look slow trying to chase that guy.
You would have to get 20 pounds to play running back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
McCaffrey's
it's one of those things where they wouldn't run dives. They wouldn't run nothing in between the top.
Well, then outside. You sit with a guy like Lamar, like with the outside option. That would be like ideal. If you want,
it's going to be interesting to see if Lamar plays out this year. And is at that same level, what that contract looks like after what Mahomes just got, man.
I think
everyone's thinking he might be the next one.
Yeah, they just so many players to fit his game in this draft. Like they got another running back, they got another wide receiver. So now they actually have a full set versus just Hollywood Brown, Mark Ingram. All right, fuck it, Lamar, just run.
Hey. What did I tell you a few weeks ago, though? Every single year, Lamar Jackson gets better.
Yeah.
From college on to now, he's done nothing but progress.
Hey, I'm the first to admit when that guy came out of Louisville and someone took a first-round pick, I was skeptical, man. I had no idea that man was going to be that bad.
I watched that dude at Louisville. His breakout season that sophomore year when he won the Heisman, basically being that read option quarterback, everyone had those questions about him in college. The very next year, he's breaking passing records. It's just the dude gets
it's different, man.
And being he has a challenge for him, he takes it and goes on.
Yeah, and weird thing, man. I mean, favorite player growing up, I've been a Michael Vick fan my entire life, man, and that's who everyone wants to compare him to. I'll tell you right now, man, his game is so different than Michael Vick's, man. For one, I don't know how that guy does it when he's running outside the pocket and makes four guys miss, barely moving, and then gets out of bounds. The guy never gets hit. He's not going to break down like Vic did. The guy, he's a freak, man. I mean, if anyone can do it, if anyone can eclipse this record-breaking contract that Mahomes just did, man, it's him.
I don't think anybody's going to eclipse it, but I think, because the total, he might get somebody near like 45. Mahomes is getting like 50. He's getting 50.
Yeah.
On average,
it can be up to, yeah.
So somebody will be getting maybe like a 4 or 5 year contract, but the total will be them getting like 45 or 40.
Yeah.
I don't really think teams will, on a short-term contract, go over 50 mil. I don't see a team doing it.
I mean, like I said on the previous episode, like I seriously think Lamar is going to be a lifer in Baltimore. They're going to give him a Pat Mahomes type contract because the kid's trajectory is on the same path as Pat. Literally.
Yeah, man. And he's 20. He's what, 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
20.
MVP season, just like Mahomes.
Dude, you never in your life, none of us in our lifetime has seen anyone see a player do a spin move and make a linebacker hit a safety. Like, no one has ever done that, at least in my lifetime. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but I just assume.
The only
that is
ones you see is like highlight films of that were like Barry Sanders back in the day.
You're talking running backs.
yeah,
You're talking about running backs.
You're talking prime time like LT Shady McCoy, and he's making that look like easy.
Nothing.
Man. It's every other play that guy's juking somebody, man.
The best athlete on the field at all times.
he
At
let
all times.
one of your
Dictates
corners
the game.
do a fucking barrel roll on the ground. Like he looked.
So
Yeah, it's
now-
fun to watch, man.
So you look at this new era of quarterback that's coming in right now. I'm actually pretty excited for 10, 15 years down the line to see how this kind of turns out to be. Because Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, possibly Josh Allen if he can continue to progress. He did pretty decent in Buffalo, this last year. If he can progress, who knows? It's just this young group of quarterbacks that are in right now. And if Joe Burrow turns out to be a stud, if Tua turns out to be a stud,
Herbert.
we're looking at a new era. Like, colleges are not going to be recruiting the typical pocket passing quarterback from here on out. That's going to be
the game's changed.
Everyone is going to be putting their best athlete, like Patrick Mahomes, like Lamar Jackson, like Deshaun Watson. The best athlete is going to have the football at all fucking times. He's going to be the quarterback, the one who can throw the ball a mile and throw the ball, short routes and everything, but be able to get out of the pocket, throw, run. Baseball backgrounds are going to be huge for quarterbacks, because Patrick Mahomes had that background in baseball. The way quarterbacks are going to be drafted from here on out, do not be surprised if in the next 10, 15 years you see nothing but a bunch of Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jacksons just on every team.
I don't know.
Man, I think it's what everyone wants, man. But if those types of players, man, it's once in a generation. I think you're absolutely right that the game's changing towards that everyone wants that guy that can do both, especially in the last 10 years or so. But I mean, those two guys, man, Mahomes makes it look like he's playing backyard football out there, and Lamar Jackson's a walk-in joystick. To say anyone that wants one of those guys is going to be able to get him, probably not, but I definitely think you're right. It's trending in that direction, and I think NFL teams are just finally starting to work with the athletes they're getting from college and not trying to turn guys into what they want them to be.
Yeah.
And those guys are making their coordinators look like geniuses right now.
Yeah, I personally, because it was a wave of, I'm not going to say this strong because it is a lot different from when Vic was in. Vic was Virginia Tech, right? And he went to, and then he became Vic. You know what I mean? They did have an influx of quarterbacks that were basically runners, like Dennis Dixon and all that stuff. That was a few years later, but
Randall Cunningham and stuff too before that.
Yeah,
but
it was a rarity at that time.
I think you're still gonna have guys that, yes, they can move, but they're typically pocket passers. And I feel like since Joe Burrow can run, but he's really a passer. You know what I mean? Like, he can get out there and run and get you some yards if he needs to, but he's still a pocket passer-ish. You know what I mean? In the definition of pocket passer,
general sense.
You know what I mean? But,
pass first guy.
Yeah. So I feel like it's gonna be that still, regardless. You're gonna get modifications and stuff like that. Like, you're gonna have more running, stuff like that. But I don't think it's gonna be a run-based position. You know what I mean? Like just take off, run. If you know what I mean, if you need to, we're just gonna have these exceptions, these standout players every so often. A good handful like we have, which you guys didn't mention Kyler because Kyler's gonna be killing and he's gonna beat your Niners.
Russell Wilson hasn't been mentioned. I mean,
yeah, but
Russell Wilson's from Wisconsin, so that I can give him. Kyler Murray, he's from Oklahoma. He's just died. If he proves me wrong, cool.
oh man,
dude, he was on the worst team in the went 7-9. He went 7-9. No, he went 6-9 with a tie. I'm pretty sure. Or was it 7-9? I don't know. I don't remember. But Kyler did way better than expected with that shitty ass team and Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, he's got D-Hop now, so he doesn't have an excuse.
Exactly, and you don't have an injury-prone as David Johnson you got to rely on. And it's like, fuck, do we have so? No, like, come on, man. Come on, man. Kyler, I believe in Kyler, and I believe in Baker.
He's from Allen, Texas.
You're all in on the Cardinals this year, Country K?
Hell no. I'll still go for my Bucks.
Come on, man. He's the next big thing. You don't think playoffs for the Cards this year?
No, they are because it's an extra wild card spot. So I feel like the Cards might take the last one to be.
I like that.
I
like that.
They're going to fall in because the Rams are going to be shit. I'm just thinking based on divisions. The Rams are going to be shit. Seattle's definitely going to lead that division. The Niners going to fall in, and they're going to take in the.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's not turn that into one of these. Come on, man. Let's not.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this episode is also brought to you by FNXFit.com. That's FNXFit.com. If you go there, you can get what they call a victory box, which has the rebalance screens, the ebook, your choice, bonus products like gear, 25% off and free shipping site-wide, access to daily workouts. You get $30 a month. You get a full-on package from PhoenixFit.com. They've been doing really, really good things out over there. So go give them a look. They were the first company to kind of ambassador and collaborate with us. So shout out to Phoenix Fit. Use the promo code Alpha Phoenix. Use Alpha FNX for 15% off your order there. So go to PhoenixFit.com, FNXFit.com right now. Hey, I got to give him one thing, bro. I got to give him one thing. That was probably the most hilarious and best segue that we've had on this show by far.
For sure.
That we're gonna have to clip that, put that all around everyone. That was just. I was just like, I told you he was gonna do it. Like he's gonna take shots at the 49ers. That's just what he's. Every episode, he'd take shots. That was the perfect response to anything.
I promise you, I wasn't expecting it. I will be from now on, but I'm expecting it.
Hey, man. It's a sensitive subject.
That was so good.
I bring my AK to the 49er party every day, and I at the Niners every day. Not literally, people. I'm not
literally. Not literally bringing on AK.
It is radio.
I respect the Niners. I respect the Niners, but I like talking shit because I've been out here so long. And I almost died one time being a non-Niner fan. So, got to tell the story. So,
where were you?
I was in San Jose, so I'm going to tell you the story, right? Yeah. So,
tells me everything already. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this shit was crazy. So, you remember the year y'all played the Saints. And
It's every year now.
Was it the wild card game? I think it was the wild card game, or it could have been NFC.
Vernon Davis.
You talking Vernon Davis, the catch?
Yeah,
Catch,
the one y'all
catch
lost.
3 or 2? 3?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The one y'all lost. So I had 2 of my friends, they're Saints fans. They're from down that way. One's from Mississippi, one's from New Orleans. I mean, from Baton Rouge. So they're New Orleans fans. So that's their thing. These fuckers decided to put New Orleans shirts underneath their button-up shirts just to talk shit, so they can like raise their shirt up or like unbutton it and be like, "Who that? Who that?" They're running around San Jose screaming this. You had a bunch of drunk-ass, emotional Niner fans out there, bro. When I tell you the crowd went from 5 to 50 in a matter of seconds, like we were literally, like they were arguing with like a couple guys, but it was, you know, guys behind them. It went from 5 to 50. Like I had to go like this, like, holy fuck. And then the other guy we were with was a Niner fan. He's from the Bay Area and all that stuff. And he was just chilling because, you know what I mean, not that emotionally into the shit. You know what I mean? I'm emotionally investing into the shit. But we both were telling him, like, dude, shut the fuck up. Please shut up. Please. Like,
Hey,
we're
one thing about Niners fans, before we run deep.
Yeah. It got crazy. All I
Yes.
saw was Vernon Davis.
That's the
shirt.
wrong city to be messing around in, man.
Oh my gosh. It was so, it got crazy fast. And I was like, dude, y'all don't shut up. I'm gonna help them whoop y'all ass. Like, please.
Right.
I remember going to the preseason game when they played Oakland, like back in like the last time at the Stick.
Okay.
Last time at Candlestick that they played each other in a preseason game. I could point out 6, 7, 8 different locations, including 10 feet away from us on our right. Fights happening everywhere. Some Raider fans versus Niner fans. Hey, for some fucking reason, some Niner fans versus Niner fans. Don't know why. They're fighting each other all around the fucking stick, dude. I'm sitting there going, they're never going to let these guys play each other again.
For Niners fans fighting Niner fans, based on the game I went to in Candlestick, when the Bucks played the Niners, before y'all beat us, so it was like when y'all still had Alex Smith, Josh Johnson, and all those guys.
Yeesh. Yeah, back in those days.
21-0. We beat y'all 21-0, and that's the game I went with Mike Osborne and his cousin and all this stuff. So, and George Dwyer, he was there too.
Okay.
Bro, when I tell you the guy sat like 3 rows in front of us, took off his Niner Letterman and was like, I'm tired of this shit, right before halftime. It was only 7-0. He threw that shit and left and never came back. I was fucking crying, bro. That shit made me laugh the whole game. His jacket was on the ground.
Somebody copped that.
You know, if you're losing to Josh Johnson, I would have fucking done the same thing.
Hey, did somebody cop that jacket?
Jesus Christ.
I'll take it.
Hey, a worker might have picked that up and was like, well, this is going to dry clean tonight, sir. But I mean, bro, that, like, I can only imagine that y'all fighting each other on the smallest things. Y'all fight each other on the debate whether Jimmy G is good or not.
I have never had an argument with another 49er fan about Jimmy G.
And based on your both of your expressions, you got 2 different opinions. I swear to you, it looks like that right now.
Nah, man. Nah, I believe in my quarterback, man. Yeah, I think me and Josh are on the same page. I was shrugging because I know the fan base. And you got in San Jose, you got a lot of real Niner fans, but then you also have a lot of not real Niner fans. And those are the guys fighting instead of watching the damn game, man. And I've been to plenty of games. And I can tell you, yeah, there's a lot of that goes on, unfortunately.
All right, so you went on the last conversation, NC. What is your take on Monster wanting out?
Mostert. Oh yeah.
Monster because of the old Green Bay.
Maserati. Yeah, man. You know, I'm a fan. I mean, Mostert took the backfield over by storm last year, man. I loved watching him play. With that being said, I think we have a deep backfield. I think even losing him, I don't think it would be that big of a hit, honestly. Especially with McKinnon coming back. We still have Tevin Coleman, a couple other guys in the mix. I'd hate to see him go, but I mean, if the guy's talking, you know, he wants $10 million a year, or, big running back money, I wouldn't pay him.
He wants the same as the basically the other running back, like Coleman and what Breida was getting as well. Like, he wants that type of money because let's be real, Mostert was not signed to the team with these expectations. He was a special teams guy.
He's a special teams player. That's what he's getting paid to do right now.
So that's what he wants. But you look at the salary cap wise, does he deserve it? I think so.
I think so. You know, if he's talking baseline, you know, $3 to $4 million a year type money, he probably wants guarantees, which is why the talk stalled out after, you know, 6 or 7 good games.
We got rid of Breida. So if we still wanted to have that 3-headed monster, basically, you know, to keep Coleman, you got that vet. You got, you know, Jerick McKinnon, who hopefully after 2 years being fucking out, you know, he can still
has some explosiveness. Yeah.
And then having Mostert back there, it adds a whole nother dimension. I told Kay this last week. Mostert, when he runs, he looks like Kamara, like he's gliding when he runs.
Oh yeah, he's fast, man.
He doesn't look like he's putting any effort into running at all, and he's just moves.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are Madden guys, man, but they gave that guy, he's got the highest speed rating out of any halfback.
Kamara?
So Mostert.
Really?
On Madden, yeah. Madden, the ratings that dropped, he's the fastest running back in the league, according to Madden.
Would they give him a 96, 97?
It was like a 96, 97. I mean, I think it's deserved. The guy he doesn't even get touched most of the time.
Yeah, no,
he's gone.
And, you know, I think, honestly, maybe that hurts him a little bit. Fortunately, I think that the coaching staff and management probably see it as he's a product of a really good offensive line. And at every point in the year, it seemed like one of our running backs was getting off. You had Breida go off for 3 games. You had Coleman dropping 4 touchdowns on the Panthers and like 175 yards. And then Mostert kind of carried that momentum into the season, blew Green Bay up. So I get the thinking. If it was my checkbook, I'd pay the man, especially if he's not asking for anything unreasonable. But they got us there last year. I'm going to trust in the hierarchy, and hopefully they know.
So then what do you think about Wilson Jr.? Because Wilson Jr., to me, when he did get his playing time,
he scored. I go back to that Cardinals game, man. The guy game-winning touchdown. I think we've got a deep backfield, man. And I think they're banking on McKinnon coming back healthy, and if he does, I mean, you know how these training camp and off-season reports go. Everyone and their mom is saying this guy looks explosive right now. He's got a step back. He's motivated. I don't know if you guys seen the tweet he tweeted out this week when it was Pro Football Focus experts were talking about who would be the comeback player of the year. And I forgot who they said, but he retweeted it back and said, watch this. Like, nah, it's not going to be him. It's going to be me. And I mean, hey, man, if dude's that motivated, he's healthy. We paid the guy a fat contract when we got him on. I think they want to see some returns on that investment.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back strong, man.
Oh, he will. I think he will. And I think, you know, the 49ers got snubbed in comeback player of the year this year.
With Tannehill getting it over Jimmy G. Yeah, don't get me started.
Tannehill played half the fucking season. And Jimmy comes back from an ACL, plays the entire season and
Goes
almost
to the
throws
Super Bowl.
2,000 yards and takes it to the Super Bowl, and he doesn't get comeback player of the year. You can kiss my ass.
Tannehill looked a lot better handing it off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that look on your face, Kate, tells me that you didn't even know Tannehill got the comeback player of the year.
No, I did. I knew he got it. But my thing is, you seriously think Ryan Tannehill didn't deserve that?
No.
Was he deserving? Yes. Was he deserving? Yes.
Not
Did he
over
deserve
Jimmy.
it more?
No.
Then what? Garoppolo took a 3-13 team and turned him into a 13-3 team, and he doesn't get comeback player of the year.
Hold on. So the only reason why y'all 3-13
because we didn't have a quarterback.
Injuries.
Tannehill got lucky because he had Derrick Henry in the backfield. That's it.
We had 3 running backs. Like,
okay. We also had George Kittle. We also had Deebo Samuel. We also had, freaking.
You're making my point. You're making my point why Tannehill deserves it more. Remove Derrick Henry and tell me who does
Brown
comparable to what you have offensively.
A.J. Brown for the Titans is a beast.
We don't have anyone comparable to Derrick Henry.
Oh, Deebo Samuels is not better than DJ?
Than A.J. Brown?
AJ, I'm sorry.
Different kind of players, Ben, but they're both solid. I mean, like I said, man, Tannehill was deserving. He came back. He managed the game. He won games. He had some fourth-quarter comebacks late in the year. But, I mean, you put their 2 bodies of work next to each other, and I think there was some just East Coast bias going on when that award got picked, man, because I just don't see how someone can go 9-7, only play half the year, and then win it over a guy that, had almost 30 touchdowns, almost 4,000 yards passing, and then took his team to the Super Bowl. It doesn't make sense when you put the resumes next to each other. They both had great.
When you look at it like that, then I agree with you. But at the same time, when you actually look into it, the Niners have more guarantees. When you throw it to Travis Kelce, guarantee he's gonna catch that. You know what I mean? When you utilize Deebo Samuels in those screens, those fucking end arounds and shit like that, guaranteed he's getting at least 5 to 10 yards. When you run your ball, you just said your O-line is amazing. Guaranteed they're getting yards, and that's gonna open up a play action.
But I mean,
so are you saying because Jimmy G had more weapons on his side, that's the reason why Tannehill deserved it?
Yes.
I mean, the only difference was Deebo Samuel when you compare the Niners offense with C.J. Beathard and then it going to Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's the same team, bro. And you see what one guy does with that system.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Deebo Samuels is that good to where it puts you over the top.
Hey,
at the same time, the only thing I didn't get to my last point, when both players throw the ball, you're nervous when Ryan throws that shit. You're nervous as shit. You're nervous as a motherfucker when Ryan throws the ball. Jimmy G comes out of that Tom Brady, Bill Belichick camp. Granted, y'all got him, but he still learned under what's the guy's name? Josh McDaniels? Yeah. He still learned under him. He still learned under Brady. He still learned how to be a football player, and he had a small sample size. So when you come to –
and that's why he's better than Ryan Tannehill, man. I mean,
that's the reason why he didn't deserve comeback player of the year. That's why. That's the only reason why I say that. But, I mean –
they were both deserving. But, no, I mean, I get your point. Hey, man, I guess the experts agreed with you there. But, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is Jimmy G doesn't get the love he deserves by a lot of people in the sports world.
I like Jimmy.
He doesn't need the love, man. He just needs to go win. Put your head down and go win the game. Who cares if they like you or not, man?
So now, since you're in here now, we've had this discussion before. Super Bowl. I said this, and I've been saying this to Kay. We run the ball, we win the game. We're averaging over 6 yards a carry to the Super Bowl. We're up by 10 points.
Why are you making me relive this right now, man?
Not because it needs to be said. If I had to go through it, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
Now, in the last 10 minutes of the game, we averaged less than a minute off the clock in each possession. 3 possessions we had. Less than a minute on each of those drives. The reason why, throwing the football. Don't know why we're throwing the football. We have the lead. We had never done that all year. If we have a 10-point plus lead, we are going to run the fucking football down your throat. That's what they had been doing all year long. Now, why, oh, why would you change that game plan going into the Super Bowl after making Mahomes, with your defense, throwing 2 interceptions, by the way? Any other quarterback, you throw 2 interceptions, you're done. You're not winning the fucking Super Bowl. And that happened.
You know, man, I've had this conversation, unfortunately, too many times. And, I mean, I love Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a tremendous coach. He's an offensive mastermind. He's going to be a force in the league for the next probably 30 years. He's innovative. Once in a generation type of coach, man. He's that good. But for some reason, that guy in the Super Bowl cannot play with the lead. He cannot play with the lead. And I mean, the sad thing is that's just what it came down to, man. Both times. I mean, dude, he blew it in New England or against New England in Atlanta. And he did the same exact thing here, man. And, you know, sadly, he still called a good enough of a game. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo hits that throw over the middle to Emmanuel Sanders. We scored the touchdown. This is a whole different conversation right now. He's hailed the king. He's the next Tom Brady. The Niners are a dynasty in the fucking making. I mean, you name it. He hits that throw.
Mahomes might not even have gotten the contract that he got had he lost that.
Exactly. I mean, the domino effects, man. I mean,
after playing the way he did in the Super Bowl, 2 interceptions, bro. We made
you
Patrick
can discuss,
average that Super Bowl, bro.
24 points against the Texans.
That's the Texans. I'm talking about the Super Bowl. You got to talk about winning the big game here.
He had to
the big game.
He was down damn near every game he played in the postseason.
Their whole question was, can you win the big one? Which that means, can you win the Super Bowl? He won it. Therefore, you give him the contract.
I mean, who knows? He would have probably got paid no matter what. The guy's special. But I mean, it does not hurt when you go into contract talks after coming back 4 straight games with just immeasurable odds, and then turning the game upside down and pulling a rabbit out of your hat and come back
I've never seen that
4 straight times and win the Super Bowl. I mean, it didn't hurt. Come contract talks, it didn't hurt. But yeah, man, I mean, just to get back to the original point, it was bad play calling, bad coaching, missed calls. I mean, you name it, man. It was the perfect storm for them to come back, win the game, and it happened.
I was so upset that day.
You're telling me.
A second fucking Super Bowl that I had to sit there and feel that way.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And to be within a possession to win it both times, it's,
Shut up, Kay.
You got lucky the first time. I'm going to be all the way honest with you. You were playing old men, and they had to sit for like 30, 45 minutes. Their body got tight, got cramped up. That's the reason why y'all came back to 3 points against the Ravens. I'm just going to say that. It was young versus old. That's pretty much what it was. Experience.
The 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I agree. You guys should have ran the fucking ball.
Lately, the 49ers in the Super Bowl have been that team that basically either sends somebody out to greatness, a la Ray Lewis, wins the Super Bowl, he retires out on top, to then going into launching greatness, Patrick Mahomes. So we've become that team that's basically a pedestal for whoever's going to be the next.
You know what, man? And I'll take solace in knowing that we're in the conversation at least. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Yeah, we fell off a little bit after Harbaugh and Kaepernick and all that blew up, man. But, hey, ownership got us back on track. Here we are again. And I'll tell you what, man, look at Belichick's records before Brady finally won that first one. How many Super Bowls did he lose? 2, in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's all it took, man. I mean, you keep getting there, chances are you're going to grab one of these things eventually. And when you do, man, curse is over, it's lifted, and you move on and you build a legacy. And I think we have a 37, 38-year-old head coach that's been at the show twice now.
No, he's 35, going on 36.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking mid-30s. This guy's going to be in the league forever. What do we sign him and Lynch to, like a 6-7-year contract or whatever?
Yeah.
We'll be back. But, enough beating up on my team, who, by the way, was just in the Super Bowl, Country K. I mean, let's talk Bucks, man. That's a hot topic right now.
We can.
You got Brady. You got Brady. You got Gronk. It's been like 20 years since you guys were in the playoffs, man. How you feeling this year? How you liking your guys' chances?
It's been 14. And
14, got it. My bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I understand why. One, management thought it was a good idea to give the Patriots all of our good fucking players. They thought it was a great idea to draft 2 shitty quarterbacks and keep them for 5 years both. Led the NFL in interceptions multiple times. We had one that just threw, granted.
He threw touchdowns, though, man.
He threw touchdowns. He got 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers and a tight end from Harvard. I mean, it's kind of not hard to throw touchdowns to 2 Pro Bowl receivers.
Pro Football Focus has both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in the top 10 receivers.
He did not do
most of them top 7.
Mike Evans was the top receiver the year before Jameis got there. Let's go ahead and get that understood, because Mike Evans is 1 year ahead of Jameis.
Yeah.
So Mike Evans broke Randy Moss's rookie record. Let's go ahead and get that out there. So Mike Evans is a type of player that I will hang my hat on every year. Granted, he just hurt his hamstring and his ankle last year. He's going to be fully healthy. He's going to be playing with a different mindset, with a different mentor that actually knows what the hell he's doing. So, yeah.
I mean, I love Mike Evans. I think he's a great player. But why are we talking about Mike Evans right now, bro? Why are you guys relevant this year? Is because you guys won the lotto and got TB12, the GOAT, the greatest player of all time. And he came and decided to take his talents to Tampa Bay, man. And not only that, he calls up his buddy Gronk, who's partying on a yacht or some shit out in the Caribbean, and convinces him to come out of retirement and make that offense even more potent, man. I mean, God, that must just – what was going through your mind, man, when you heard, man, Tom Brady's coming where?
I didn't think it was going to happen, first of all. We didn't know that was going to happen. We had conversations. We could go back. We had conversations. We had those conversations. There was those rumors that he might be a Niner. There was the rumor that he was going to go to LA, a Charger.
Miami. He's going to be a Charger. You name it.
Not once did Kay ever mention that the Bucks were a possibility. And then when it happened, this motherfucker walked in like as if, oh, I knew it.
No, seriously.
We're going to be the champs.
You're right. I did not.
Bowl.
But the farthest I went on the hyperbole tree, I said we might get Dak because Dak's not going to re-sign with the Cowboys. That was as far as I went. But I knew, I've always told you this via social media. If we get a decent quarterback, the Bucs are going to be good.
I don't know if it's going to fix that defense, but yeah, you guys are going to be exciting to watch, man. What do you think of expectations wise, man? What, you're all the way to Super Bowl or bust? What are you thinking?
The only team I think can stop us in the NFC is the Saints. Are the Saints. But
interesting.
The only no, seriously, because Seattle's gonna be fucking pissed at y'all because y'all stole the game from them, the very last game from the season, on that little line drive tackle, even though they were holding the whole freaking game. And all right, whatever, you got it. You got it.
Game is won by inches. Game is won by inches, my friend.
I see what's going on here. It ain't even like
no, seriously, Seattle's
there's
gonna
like
be
an avid hate here going on.
No. Look, man.
There's like
if you'd have talked to me this time last season, I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna be sorry shit. We got Jameis Winston on the roster, we're gonna be sorry shit, he's gonna throw the game away. I've been saying that since draft day. Since 2015, I've been saying he's gonna throw it away. I've been saying
so you guys win the division this year, beat the Saints, and you're all the way.
So look, we might lose game one.
I want it documented right now. What is it? The 17th of July before the season starts, man. I want to hear you're Super Bowl or bust. You guys are winning this.
I've said this at least for like last month.
He has.
I've been saying the same thing, dude. Like I promise you.
Since they signed,
I feel like I literally broke it down maybe like 3 episodes ago. I'm like, Minnesota's no, Green Bay no. I said y'all the whole Seattle thing, and then you're still sleeping on Kyler because he's gonna sneak one from y'all. So that'll drop y'all. And honestly, the only team can beat us is the Saints. That's it. And they're broken. They're really broken over there. Like the team's divided. Like whether they're still messing with Drew Brees or not, they'll play it up. Be all like, oh, yeah, we're fine and all this stuff, but you're going to see the Saints playing a lot different. You know what I mean? It's a lot of turmoil over there, getting cheated, all this kind of – like it's been crazy down there in New Orleans.
He forgets we have the best defense in the NFL.
The sad thing, man, and I hate to have to talk to the best about this.
Our receivers, but go ahead.
You can ask Josh. You can ask Josh Country K. I'm probably the biggest Tom Brady fan that will admit it in the whole Bay Area. All these guys, all of them I know, they hate the Patriots. Jersey. They hate Tom Brady. I've been at Tom Brady. My first Super Bowl, man, I was like 7 years old. I watched Tom Brady win the Super Bowl. I'm all in on that guy, and I'm excited that he's actually on a team with some weapons. I'm stoked to see what he does with your guys' receivers, Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk. You guys still don't have a running game. The O-line's still questionable. I hope my boy at 43 don't go out there and just get lit up. Because your guys' offensive line. I think it's going to be exciting, and I hope you guys are there come, playoff race time. And, man, I hope we get some run-ins with Jimmy G and TB12, man. That'd be – headlines and a fun time. That would be exciting.
With us coming out on top.
That would be an exciting show. So here's the thing. I don't know where your delusion continues to come in, Josh. Like you have corners, these old fucking corners or young, unexperienced corners that can guard 2 Pro Bowl receivers, a Super Bowl champion, O.J. Howard, forgot about him, Cameron Brate, and our running back, Ronald Jones, he's coming into his own. He's coming into his own.
Why?
So,
because 3 years coming, but yeah, I got you.
It's literally 2 years. But again, when you have a
it'll be his 3rd year. Yeah.
Jameis Winston, like, bro, you have to understand how bad. First off, Josh Freeman was the epilogue to this fucker. To be honest with you, Josh Freeman sucks so bad. Like, bro, when they drafted Josh Freeman, we were still in college. I watched Josh Freeman get drafted, and they had incompletions and interceptions on his highlight tape when he got drafted. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, I'm like, the NFL's allowing this? What's going on? Like, I lost all hope.
I'm
I was
not
like,
right.
oh my God.
They're focusing on his footwork, man.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, like Jameis Winston, like I said, I feel the same way Josh does about Oklahoma quarterbacks. Jameis Winston fits in the mold of Florida State quarterbacks not panning out. Like none of them. They have intangibles, I guess. I mean, they just suck to me. Jameis needs to go to the MLB. That's my campaign. I'm gonna make a shirt, and I'm gonna stick to this, and I'm gonna continue to go. If he sees me with the shirt on, I'm fine with that. If I have a conversation and I tell Jameis he does that, I'm fine.
Hey, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Jameis got LASIK eye surgery this last off season, and all his problems have gone away, man. Apparently, he couldn't see who was on the other team, so he was just throwing it up a lot of the time.
So I got one question. I know it's not for you. It's not for you, but I mean, you're the last person to speak. When did Jameis Winston lose his eyesight? Was it in college when he was the number one defense and the fucking best offense in the country? Or was it his first year in the league when he had Mike Evans, who just broke Randy Moss's rookie record? Or was it further on down the line when he got Chris Godwin? I don't know. Like, I personally don't know. When did he go blind?
Why did he not take care
He
of
might have been blind when he grabbed that Uber driver's breast. Or when he stole the crab legs. Or when he said fuck her in the pussy in college. Honestly, I hate that dude, man. I promise you. Like, I don't know why this hatred is so deep for this man. But I do not like him, dude. I don't like him at all.
When you
It's
put
entertainment.
this YouTube video, you put another notch for another episode of talking about Jameis Winston and how trash he is for coaching. Episode 22. Episode 22. And doesn't cease to amaze me. 22 episodes in a row.
I think I went one. I think I did one episode without speaking about him.
I doubt
when we did the
Deep
episode
rooted.
of Justice. I
get it.
I didn't say anything about the Bucks at all.
Not when we did the interview with Justice, but when we finished the episode a couple of days down the line, yes, you did. Part 2 of that version, yeah, you did.
I feel like the Saints are trash because he's on the roster. His mojo is not right, man.
I don't know. Well, to get off NFL for a bit, NBA in 13 days are going to start up. 322. So this is via Malika Andrews, the NBA insider. 322 players were tested. Only 2 of them were positive.
Same team.
So with those numbers, NBA is going to take a chance and fucking do this thing. That's what they're going to do. And then the question that's been on everybody's mind is there an asterisk next to whoever wins the championship this year?
You know, I've been hearing that a lot, man. And I just you go into a season and you set up a tournament. You play through the regular season, you get into the playoffs, you play for a championship. Everyone's on the same. Everyone has the same chance. Everyone's up against the same circumstances. And I feel like now with the reboot and how long everybody's been off the training time that they're getting prior to the season, I feel like everyone's on the same even keel. Everyone's dealing with the same stuff right now and in the same situation. So who's to say that just because you won one on a shortened season, it should be, have an asterisk next to it or not count, and that's just me. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of different takes on it. And, just, to me, it's everyone's going into it the same exact way. Why does it matter?
Very true. They've had shortened seasons before.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
Shortened season. Miami won a shortened season. Like, it's happened before, so it's not like this the first time. So I agree. There shouldn't be an asterisk, even though they kind of got an idea that LeBron's going to win that. I'm leaning towards the Lakers. Leaning only because I heard one point that made so much sense. That, you know, the guys that are further down the roster, they're going to play better because those guys are in the NBA. You know what I mean? They're in the NBA for a reason. So they're going to play better because they probably are playing skittish because of the fans, the expectations of the fans. So the fact that they're isolated, it'd be like practice ball.
You
know?
Less pressure.
Yeah, a whole lot less pressure. So they'll play a lot better, and those practice players will be more of an asset versus like, fuck, I gotta put him in because I gotta give this guy some rest. And it's more like, all right, this guy's gonna go out there and kill. So I heard that take a few different shows and stuff like that. Actually, I agree with that. That's why I was saying, like, my team, the Heat, we're a sleeper. And honestly, I feel like they're disrespecting Kendrick Nunn. The only reason why they're gonna give this bullshit Rookie of the Year to Ja Morant because of the dunks. It's not like he's pushing. The hype. He's not pushing Memphis into anywhere greater. They're only in the bubble because
they're the 8th seed, but yeah.
That's my point. Like, they're the 8th seed, and they just got 3 of our core guys from Miami, and they actually helped them versus before they got them when they didn't have Iguodala and they, you know what I mean, all the other pieces that they didn't really have. They were like horrible. You know what I mean? John Morant still was dunking. He still was shooting. He still was trying to do things. They were horrible. Then they got those pieces like James Jones, you know what I mean, for instance, and that pushed them forward. They got a different mindset because Miami has different training. We have a different thing, and we're defensive first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I think John Morant doesn't deserve it. And they talk about Zion because that's all hype. This kid only played like 20 games. That's all hype.
2K21 cover athlete.
Yeah, he can do all this, but he's literally hype at this point because he hasn't played enough.
Zion is...
It's ability, man. It's pure ability.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm saying to get Rookie of the Year off of 20 games, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't say he's trash. I don't think he's trash by any means. I think Zion's going to be a beast. But to give him Rookie of the Year or even the conversation of Rookie of the Year when he's been out majority of the year, come on, man.
I mean,
and
they've done worse things in giving fucking Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year in his second year. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but
yeah, that was disrespectful as hell to Donovan Mitchell. That was disrespectful. Donovan definitely deserved that. But again, they gave Rookie of the Year to Blake Griffin his second year. Same thing, but I mean, it is what it is, bro. They're just gonna go off of the hype. They're gonna go off of the fanfare. And it's fine, but they'll realize how good Kendrick Nunn is. Like, Kendrick Nunn is a beast. He is
I think, yeah. I mean, get back to the original point, you know, if there's an asterisk next to it. No, I think the field is pretty close, man. I think Miami definitely has a shot in the East. I think after the Bucks and the Sixers, man, I mean, you know, there's a little bit of a drop off, but overall, I mean, I think the Eastern Conference is pretty tight when you talk about those, you know, first 4 or 5 teams. And, you know, the Heat just came together. It's a Pat Riley team, like, through and through, man. Tough defense, energy, pushing the pace. You got some young guys stepping up. I like Miami out of the East. I'm a little biased. I'm a Laker fan. This whole COVID thing's got me kind of real excited about 35-year-old LeBron James getting a couple months of rest prior to going back out there and getting into this tournament.
Probably just added 4 years onto his fucking career.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see him go at it. You know, rested and straight into playoff mode. I think the Lakers are going to be real scary. That being said, they ran into some injuries. The guard position that's going to make LeBron's job a little harder, especially with Rondo and Avery Bradley going down and LeBron probably having to play point. That's going to be a challenge. But
Bronny's going to get to the Lakers with LeBron.
What's that?
You're gonna have Bronny. You're gonna have a father-son duo in LA. Watch.
Yeah, LeBron keeps this up, man. Yeah, he'll still be playing. But yeah, man, it should be exciting. I'm happy. I mean, to be completely, I'm just happy to start seeing some sports again.
Yeah.
Just given the way it always has gone down. What's that?
Baseball's been going. I'm not sure if any of the games that I've been seeing count, or if they're like the spring training style games, like the training camp that they're running. Because they've been running, at least on Twitter and like Facebook Live and everything like that. They're probably on TV too. I just haven't seen it. But they've been having games in empty stadiums, playing the game.
And same with soccer. I'm just talking like, in this kind of format, man, and jumping right back into games that matter. And kind of getting that feeling back. With baseball and their 200 games, and even with the shortened season, man, it doesn't have that same excitement coming out of quarantine that I think the tournament's going to get, or hopefully bring back. But
sure. NBA is they're about to get like a boost in viewership ratings. That's for sure when they start up. Because, just like you said, we haven't really been watching sports in a long period of time. Football doesn't start until, late September, August, and even that right now is still kind of up in the air with everything that's going on. So it's just to have something. Everyone's going to be tuning in. Everybody's going to be cheering on their favorite team. I hope LeBron doesn't win. I really don't want LeBron to win. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it.
Who's your pick, Josh?
Me? I mean, it really is hard to say it because the Rockets do look like they have a pretty good chance in this style, in this format.
Yeah.
So what?
The two players that tested positive for COVID was Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Yeah, they'll be back though. I think.
Yeah, but when they come back and when they start playing, the Rockets are going to be a good team in the West. They pretty much always have been for a little while. So now in this format, I think they're going to be good. I think LeBron's going to have that typical. He's going to get there, but then something happens where he loses. Western Conference Finals or in the finals, whatever it happens, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But the Bucks have another good shot at doing it. There's a few teams that have a good shot at, kind of challenging for that time. Of course, everyone's going to pick LeBron because in a lot of people's eyes, modern day generation at least, he's the greatest of all time. So it's like, of course, everybody's going to pick him. But I just don't think, especially in this format, the way everyone's going to be able to kind of just do their own thing. It'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets to the Western Conference Finals. I wouldn't be surprised at that. That's just.
I mean, how do you not admire the guy based on everything you just said? I mean, you're talking. He's 35.
You know what? The real thing about LeBron was, like, for me, the decision to go to Miami, I thought that was a complete waste of everybody's fucking time. I was like, really?
You won a ring? Won two of them?
Won two of them, yeah, that's fine. But at that point, I was just kind of like, really, bro? You held everybody fucking hostage for like an hour just to say you're gonna go to Miami? Like, come on, bro. Like, how big is your fucking ego? Like,
obviously, not to get too off topic.
He's a great player. I'm not going to deny that at all.
If you really think about it, though, like the media like presses players. They like kind of create these egos. They kind of create these monsters because
he was playing villain there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the same, like, bro, they're hounding him every day, hounding his camp every day, probably during that time. Like, where's he going? 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 He just kept it on the hush. But I mean, if you want to go ego, Kevin Durant did a whole thing like next chapter.
Yeah,
Like
he doesn't like to talk about that, being a Warrior fan.
No,
yeah,
I mean,
like, come
I
on.
saw that, and I kind of just went the same thing. Every time these guys make like the decision of where it is that they want to go, and they like take long extended periods of time of people's day, and like these writers can be doing something else than sitting there in a fucking room for an hour just to say you're gonna go to a certain team for 10 seconds and walk the fuck off. Like, why do we gotta waste everybody's time like that? Like, so every
No, man,
time you guys,
yeah.
you know,
No, I get it, man. I get it. But at the same time, man, I don't know. For me, I like to see it. I like to see the athletes kind of taking back the power in a lot of these things. You know, I mean, him doing that was just so different. And
it's like
obviously ownership and
back then at that point, that's when I had that like, all right, you know what, fuck LeBron. I was like, really,
Yeah.
we did this whole thing, and then now, as his career progresses, you kind of learn more about the guy, what he's done, and what
yeah,
kind of an influence he is.
the
to guys
relationship
around
with
the league.
yeah,
You know,
with
that's what I say. I do not
Yeah.
deny the greatness of the guy. Just back early in his early days, was not a fan of the ego. Was not a fan of the ego.
All right, let me ask you this: Are you a petty person?
I don't like to think I am.
All right, so look, just think about it. Let's test this right now. Test this right now.
Things to a certain extent, I would agree. To
Okay.
certain things.
All right, let's test this right now. So say you're him, right? Media's fucking with you every day, ask you dumb ass questions. Hey, does your headband get sweaty? Oh, how about your socks? They just ask you dumb questions like that. What's a good way to get back at them? Make them sit for a 2-hour-long interview to say, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And the interview's over. You're sitting there for 2 hours now. What's a great way to get back at them? Well, I'll do that shit right there. Just make some bullshit up in the beginning and then just say, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. That's a good way to do that.
In hindsight, when you look back at it, it's pretty fucking comical. It's pretty hilarious the way you look at it. You know, when you look at it in that light.
That's what I was saying. Like, if you really look at LeBron, like, yeah, he has his flaws. He does a whole bunch of like prima donna type stuff. But then I feel like some of that goes in that same vein of greatness, because all the great players had a streak where they're doing questionable shit. You know what I mean? Like
even Jordan did.
Fighting players doing other shit. You know what I mean? Kobe doing other shit to other players. Like, I don't want to speak on him because he's here right now. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to the man. But
no, I was just speaking the truth. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, again, I just don't want to do that. But it's just, I mean, just great players do certain shit. Brady, same thing, to bounce the football really quickly. You got all the players that all these great players that do questionable shit. So I feel like LeBron does that kind of shit too.
In order to be the greatest of all time, or, you know, even get into that conversation, you have to have a certain amount of ego, man.
Yeah.
You do. You got it. You have to believe you're the best to be the best, man. And I think he probably would do things different if you asked him today. I mean, in retrospect, I mean, to be completely honest, not to get too off topic, as a huge Laker fan growing up, a diehard Kobe Bryant fan, I hated LeBron's guts. Most of my life, man. Absolutely hated it. And then he decided to join the Empire. And hey, man, how do you not embrace LeBron James when he decides to come to your team, man? I get it. I'm sure Country K's dealing with a little of that with Tom Brady.
Hated him until he had him on.
LeBron. I hate LeBron too. So I understand where you're at, dude. I get it.
So I mean, but you can't knock the guy's greatness, his work ethic, the fact that he's always in the conversation, that he's probably going to be there again this year. And I mean, when you really break it down, I mean, been as solid as an athlete as you can get on and off the court, man. I mean, he's a stand-up guy. He's building schools, putting kids through college that grow up in, neighborhoods similar to what he did. I mean, he's the face of the NBA, and that's why all the media attention's always there. And I'm sure it will become July 31st when we're in the bubble.
I need someone to make a whole clip, or not a clip, but just like a series of clips of LeBron James saying family.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I don't know if y'all ever heard him say family. It's fucking hilarious, dog. You can't say family for shit. Like, it's hilarious. Family.
I put that emphasis, man.
That's how he says it. Like, that was one thing I was like, LeBron James can't say family for shit. Like, when he was talking about the kids at the school, and he just talking about how he's helping families and shit, I promise you. That shit is hilarious, bro. If I have spare time, I'll make that shit myself. But that shit is hilarious. That shit is hilarious to me. I don't know why. It might be just me, and I got a twisted sense of humor. I'm little shit like how people do family.
I just thought about it right now. I didn't even know why we didn't even mention it. Kawhi and Paul George and the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, that honestly, when you were saying everyone's on the Lakers, most people are on the Clippers, man.
Yeah, like, bro, Kawhi's that man. I'm telling you.
He's already beat him once.
I agree. But when you go pair for pair, Lakers got a better pair. Lakers got a way better pair. Paul George can't compete with AD for shit. For nothing. Even if you switch them around. Paul George can't compete with LeBron for shit. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things.
Anthony Davis is a special type of player, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got two guys in the top 10, and Kawhi and Paul George against two guys in the top 5, and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and it's going to be fun. I think the Clippers are deeper than the Lakers are, especially with all the injuries and people just going down. But I mean, that's star power, man. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be close, but I think it'll run through LA for sure. It'll be Clips Lakers to go to the championship.
I feel like JR is going to bring that mean streak back to, like, give some toughness.
It's on a LeBron team, man. You know that's when JR shows up.
He's going to give some toughness because right now,
hope he doesn't fuck up like he did before.
Pat Beverly, man, he'll eat your heart out really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
He's a hell of a player. He just has some mental fuck-ups in the game that just...
I mean, that was one. It was one.
It was a big one, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was crazy. But, I mean, again, you got to understand what monster you're dealing with when you're dealing with JR. Like, he'll do some shit like that, but then he'll come right back and shoot a three-pointer in 4 people's faces and knock that shit.
He'll drop 20 points in 5 minutes out of nowhere. And go, what just happened?
So that's why I said I'm leaning towards the Lakers, but I really want my Heat to win. I feel like they're a sleeper team. That's my choice.
I think you guys are getting close. I don't think this is the year, but I think you guys are getting close.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I just feel like we'll get close to the Eastern Conference Finals. I feel like we'll probably make it.
A lot of young talent on that team. Should be exciting.
My young goats.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. My young goats. Young goats. Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero.
He's passionate about his team.
My young goats.
I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show. We thank you so much for joining us in this episode. It was a fun one. And see, welcome to the group, bud.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yeah, man. We're going to keep doing this. This is going to be good. Thank you again to Coach Swanny for joining us in the beginning. A hell of an interview. We got some clips out of that we're going to put out for sure. Yeah, so thank you again. Joining us, episode 22. We will see you guys again next week for 23. our Jordan episode, I guess we can call it. So thank you guys again. Facebook, Instagram, you guys know the deal. Go to Twitter, Alpha PVP, the JAFFOs AP. Go check it out. We'll see you guys later. For myself, Coach K, NC,
Peace
deuces.
out.
See y'all later.